Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Pointless Exercise podcast. The winter meetings are wrapping up in Orlando, Florida, and so we're nowhere near that geographically. But we're going to talk about it anyway.
It wasn't in the budget this year.
With Praz and Oleg. Praz, have you received your books yet?
I've not received the books. What I have received is, what do you call them? The substitute for the autographs?
We got the book plates.
The book plates, well, yes. I did get those in the mail.
Well, without the books, I assumed you put those on you slap those on your car, like bumper stickers.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. Some on-the-road promotion. Or, you know what? Maybe, I do drive rideshare. Maybe put them, on the back of the front seat, let them know, hey, buy this book. Buy this book, people. Yeah.
With every ride, you get a 10% discount on these books.
Exactly.
For those of you who don't know or didn't see the earlier podcast today, because this is the second one of the day, there's the Immortals, which is about the 2016 Cubs. Great until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Here, which is about the 2003-2004 Cubs. And there are these are the paperback versions. If you can hear that, there are hardcovers, and now there are Kindle versions. And no update from this morning's the podcast I did with Dave earlier today. That guy who was doing the Kindle Unlimited is still on page 24.
I'm looking forward to just start every time you write something, just start with an update on that guy. Might be.
Yeah, we'll see what page he's on.
Yeah, might be.
I don't know who it is. It might not even be a he.
Does it show a location? I can go bust some kneecaps if you need me to.
It doesn't. And the only reason we've sold plenty of the Kindle books, but only one person has it on Kindle Unlimited, which is their Netflix version where you just get all the books and you can read them.
Apple Music, kind of. Yeah.
Right. So it sends the author an update as to the total number of pages those people have read. But since there's only one person, I can tell what page the person is on. Once the second person gets it, then that whole shtick will go out the window. But
there you go.
If it's you out there, could you just flip ahead to page 100? Because then they'll pay me for your book. But until you get to 100, you're reading it for free.
Will they? Is it available in the library yet?
No, I should go check. See if the Rockford Public Library has it I would guess they'll have a huge display. They probably would want me to come pose with it.
I can't believe that they haven't asked you yet to do a book signing. You got any of those planned? Anything that you want to share?
No, I think that would be really sad.
No.
To have
That's what the book plates are for.
Just sit there at a table when people go, who are you? What's this about? Yeah, I'm not reading that shit. You look like a dope. Thank you. I go sit in front of the Woodman's liquor store, maybe. I could make recommendations for beer.
There you go.
When they're in.
If I the first person to come up as a teenager wants to go in to buy a 6-pack for him.
Hey. I'll buy one of your books and you'll get me a case. Sure, why not?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't care what you do with your life, kid.
Action-packed winter meeting so far. The Cubs, with their incredible minor league system, they had to be really white-knuckling the Rule 5 draft because they could have lost,
Oof.
I don't know, 30 guys out of the minor leagues, including James Triantos probably more than once. Shockingly, they didn't lose anybody. Nobody got claimed. Nobody wanted any.
Triantos was. I didn't even know this. Hey, I thought that I actually figured that they would have put Triantos in the 40-man. They didn't.
They did not.
Yeah.
And really? I think they did it. They
knew
must
they
have a
didn't
pretty
have
good
to.
gauge of. Yeah, I guess so. Nobody wants him.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they probably thought nobody's keeping him. We'll get him back.
Right. Interesting. You're like, maybe somebody else will take him, try to make him better, and
don't they have
things?
Even with the great Phil Matan, don't they have 10 open spots on their 40-man? And they didn't take anybody.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I can't imagine that they would have taken anybody, but I don't.
Well, there's no Gage Work. You couldn't take Gage Workman again, so that's why they didn't take anybody.
Yeah,
not eligible anymore. Actually, I don't know. He probably is. I don't know. Can you get picked more than once in the Rule 5? I'll call Gage, find out. See how he's doing in Toledo, wherever the fuck he is.
It is. It's kind of annoying that there's Triantos is on the 40-man. It says he's on the 40-man.
He is?
It says he's listed on the 40-man roster.
Well, that's why nobody could take him.
Yeah,
I thought they didn't bother to do that.
Riley Martin. Yeah, it was a little surprising. Let's see, it's on the.
Oh well.
Yeah, well, we're right there. Oh, no.
I can't wait. I'm a big James Trandos fan.
Yeah,
I've never
you
seen
have
him
to.
play.
Yeah, I
now.
can tell.
I just know
can
people
tell.
make a big deal out of him, and then they look at his stats, and they always look bad to me. So I
I saw he was on a list. I don't remember what site I was reading, but he was in a list of post-hype prospects.
Yeah, there should have never been. He should still be pre-hype.
Yeah.
So that the Cubs minor league system being so valued today,
yeah.
made me go look, because in my mind
Uh-huh.
I was like, when was the last like non-first round white college kid that the Cubs have picked that's actually turned out to be a decent major leaguer?
Turned out to be decent. First. So wait, the criteria is first round non-white kid.
No, first round white college kid, because they have a type. What they typically
Yeah,
pick.
that's all they
Clearly,
take. Right.
yes.
Right. So it's
And
here are the
to be fair,
here are their
they can't draft the Latin Americans, so
Right. So
no, but there are other. You can draft high school players. And
yeah.
you can I mean, they
Ed
did draft
Howard.
Ed Howard.
Yeah.
They did draft Ed. That worked out great.
Yeah, that was maybe that's what turned them off from drafting non-white people. Is that Howard?
Yeah.
Can we start
So
seeing people of color?
it's the short answer is it's Javi.
Yeah. There you go.
Javi is,
Yeah.
and that was Jim Hendry.
Yep,
That wasn't Theo. So
was
since
2011.
Theo, Chris Bryant, 2013, first round, second pick. 2014, Kyle Schwarber, first round, fourth pick. Now that draft is the only time they got anybody. They got Dylan Cease and Justin Steele in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Steele's the only guy on this list that they still have who's good.
Forgot
Okay.
that was Cease's
Second
draft.
round.
Okay.
They really stretched it out. 15, first pick, first round, ninth pick, the great Ian Happ.
The apple of my eye.
16, 17, bad. 18, first round, 24th pick, Nico Horner.
Who's actually
16 and 17. In 16 and 17, they would have lost both of their first shot, or they would have
right because
they signed
16
Haywood and Lester.
Yeah, they signed a couple guys with qualifying offers, so no surprise there.
So you jump ahead to 2022, first round, seventh pick, Cade Horton.
Yeah.
23, first round, 14th pick, Matt Shaw.
Yeah.
24, here you go.
Yeah.
First round, 14th pick, Cam Smith.
Yeah. And
after they drafted him, they found out he was black.
Yeah.
And they traded him to the Astros.
Yeah.
They're like, wait a minute, a guy named Cameron? He's not Cameron Smith, really? He's black? Oh God. We gotta start paying extra to get the photos from the scouting test. Well, he's gotta go. But this is just they're picking 20, 30 guys a draft. This is it fits on a sticky note.
Yeah. That's everyone who's made any kind of a
anybody who's any good. I mean, but a lot of their drafts have been bad. But all we hear about is, this farm system is so good. And Dan Kantrovitz, we couldn't possibly lose him.
Yeah.
No, he's what evidence do we have that he's good? You could subscribe to The Athletic and just read the Keith Law articles, and you would have taken Bryant and Schwarber and Happ.
Right.
Yes.
The one I give him credit for is Cade Horton.
Yeah.
Because that was like because that one they were like, okay, this guy with this because they picked him 7th. It's not like they're picking 20th.
We're right. That was the thing, is that he would have been.
They were like, okay, well, he's got a very short he's pitched well for a month in his whole life, and we're gonna take
right.
him. Yeah, I think they get credit for that.
I think Cade Horton did have and sorry, I saw it in one of my roto leagues. It's NL only, and we have a minor league draft, and so kind of paying attention to the draft prospects gives you a little bit of an edge. And one of the things that, so with Cade Horton, there was a little bit of of talk about him going into that draft. I remember that. But yeah, you're right. The Cubs deserve it. I also feel like with first round picks, that's not everybody knows who the top 30 players are. There's a fairly good consensus. Sometimes you pick one over the other, kind of Ethan Holiday was kind of going to be a first round pick, and then he kind of wasn't and fell to a first pick. Fell to 4th. Those things happen. This year, there's a kid from UCLA who's probably going to be the first pick in the draft.
Chalowski,
Rock Chalowski. Dave and I were wondering if we looked it up. I was hoping his real name was Rochester. It's not. It's David Rock Chalowski. ROCH.
So I don't know that the Cubs, like, credit is a weird term. Like, it's nice to develop players, but from the totality of it, right? Like, to have nobody hit from further down in the draft is just
what it really seems to to me, it's like the development part of the draft and development can't be that good because Bryant, ready-made big leaguer.
Yeah.
Schwarber,
yes.
Pretty much couldn't turn him into a catcher. He was pretty much ready-made.
Yep.
Hap.
Yep.
Nico.
Yep.
Was basically they had to bring him up the next year because they ran out of shortstop.
Yeah, every single one of those guys is a college player, and that's the idea, right? You're already 21 years old, so you should be up. And if you're drafting early enough in the top 10, you should be picking guys who are relatively ready because those are the ones who are easiest to project. So if you're already really, really good, sorry, Praz, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're really, really good, then you just that's how good you are. And that's the idea, right? Is you get to the majors faster, you can help faster, all of that stuff. Even if you skip the first 7 games or 7, whatever, of the season.
I will say they do deserve a little bit of credit for Nico just because, like, to this point so far, if you look at that 2018 draft class, by B-War, he's been the best player. And he was picked number 24. So, I mean, I don't know what slot he was projected to go.
We give him credit. What if they had picked 10th? Would they have taken Nico?
Probably not.
Right.
But,
wait, why not?
Well, I'm just saying they probably had other players higher than Nico.
Oh,
when they went to pick 24th, he was the best guy left on the board, and they get.
I see what you're saying.
So I'm glad they picked him. He's a nice player, but I'm not ready to just say, well, if they had picked higher, they knew that was going to be the most productive player from that first round.
I do also think that baseball is a little bit different, right? It's not always about taking the best player available, right? That's sort of the other side of it is that when you look at the Cubs drafts, what I will say, the one good thing about what they've done is that they've been real good about kind of identifying players who would, because you have a limit, right? I wish they could spend whatever they wanted. Well, I don't know if that would help the Cubs, but like, because there's a limit on what you could spend. So the Cubs have done a good job of allocating resources to get kind of good players all over the place. But then what you end up doing is you end up getting a lot fewer impact players. Like last year, they took this kid, Ethan Conrad, right? The outfielder from, I don't know, wherever he was. He took a lot less money.
Wake Forest, I think.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
He took less money. They were able to take some other kids. Maybe they'll be good, maybe not. Who knows? But that's the kind of stuff where you can get somebody like Jackson, who's the Ferris, right? Jackson Ferris, who they traded to the Dodgers for Michael Bush. That's what was available to them to pick a high school guy like that. And so they used that money to get Michael Bush, essentially. So that's not, you give them a little bit of credit for that, right? They kind of allocate the resources. Well, and other teams do this also. Like I'm not just in Cubs.
Well, that was the strategy in 14. Part of the reason they took Schwarber, was they didn't have to pay him like the 4th pick.
Yeah.
And that's how they got Steele and Cease.
That's right.
They signed those. They drafted them when they were both committed.
That's right.
And if you've ever heard Dylan Cease talk, college probably not really in his future, or Justin. Unless they were having college in a duck blind, I don't think Justin Steele wanted to go. But that's what they did. They used they spread out their draft pool that way. And they got a lot of shit for Schwarber. A lot of people hated that pick. Like, didn't have a position, blah, blah, blah. He seems to have turned out okay. Although, for them, it's like Dave put it today, it's one of the worst moves any GM has ever made, was Jed Hoyer DFAing Kyle Schwarber.
Oh, God, it's awful.
It's
horrible.
like, it should get you fired.
Yeah, I can't, I don't disagree.
Now that you think about it, like, he was so lucky that was so early in his tenure as president of baseball operations, because that was like going into his first offseason after Theo would,
well, he gone,
skip town.
But that's not. I don't even think that that's the point, right? Because you wouldn't have known how bad of a move that was until like a year or two later.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So at that point, you're like, wait a second, this guy's turned out really good. Now part of it also is, and I think the reason why he didn't get fired is because I don't really think he's the one who made that choice. Like it was like you're given this, like, sorry, we can't spend any money. And like, well, I got to do something here. And paying Schwarber the $9 million, whatever it was going to be in his last arbitration year.
I mean, not that I need any more reason to not like Ian Happ, but part of the reason for that decision was the Cubs had decided Happ couldn't handle center field.
Yes.
So now he became then it became they refused to eat. The Ricketts wouldn't eat Hayward's contract yet.
Yes.
It was 2 years still before they would eat any of that.
That's a good point.
Which meant they looked at theirs like, well, either they're going to play Happ or Schwarber in left field, and they decided that they would go with Happ.
Yeah.
And that's why they let Schwarber go. Now there's a lot of other things too. Like if they knew that a year later, right? He was there in 20, they let him go after 20?
After 20. Oh yeah, I guess
after 20, because he wasn't part of the 21 trade purge. If they'd have known that the DH was coming back for 22, then maybe they're like, okay, fine, we'll just keep him. But I don't think they would have. I think they'd kind of given up.
Yeah, I think they gave up on him. Like there was no reason to not find some place to play him. Like something.
Well, in my mind, I was like, well, I remember he really struggled there for a while. But when you go back and look at his stats, even his struggle years, he's a productive player. Like, there's no defense for it. Even if you try to come up with one for Jed, you really can't.
Right.
And now my new favorite stat is over the last 4 years, Kyle Schwarber has hit 101 more home runs than any Cub.
Yeah.
101 more than any Cub. And it's Happ, of course. With 86, Kyle has 187.
I mean, all things considered, Kyle Schwarber did pretty well for himself.
I guess the other thing to consider with Schwarber at that time too is like if they pick up the option on him, they did pick up the option on Rizzo that year because he had a player option as well. But he's probably a part of that same sell-off if he's only signed through 2021, just like
at the very least, then they would have got. But that's the thing; they didn't get anything.
Right? Yeah, that's true. They would have gotten something potentially useful for him.
For a guy who finished second MVP this year and hit 56 home runs, and the Cubs had him more in his prime than he is now, and turned it into a big wad of nothing. Fun. Anyway, so Pete Alonso signed with the Orioles today. Did you know that he met with 3 teams today or yesterday?
Okay.
Saw that.
He met with the Baltimore Orioles. He met with the Boston Red Sox, and he met with the Chicago Cubs. What were they talking to Pete Alonso about?
I wonder how hard Craig was pining for that, knowing how much he wants a right-handed option at first base to continue to shelter Michael Busch. But, Pete Alonso would not be that guy.
If you sign Pete Alonso, do you then trade Michael Busch?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Like, that would be.
I think overall at this point, Busch is the better option.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't. Like, I don't give a shit how much money they spend, or I don't give a shit how. Yeah, like, there's no limit to my.
No, I don't. I'm not here to. I'm not going to be precious about their payroll. As far as I'm concerned, you want to pay Pete that much money to be your primary DH. I'm fine with it.
I would have rather, like, it's the same contract. Pete's making $1 million more a year than Schwarber. I would have rather given that money to Schwarber.
Yeah.
Like, if you're thinking about Pete at anywhere near that cost, sign Schwarber.
Right.
But you could also make the case then that Busch should have value in trade.
I think I really
so maybe
think,
you could get back enough to make you feel like you're actually better.
I think that Jed is really pushing to get that, like, Mackenzie Gore, Edward Cabrera, Joe Ryan type starter. And I really think that those teams want somebody like Matt Shaw. I think a lot of those teams are saying, I think that there's, I feel like Matt Shaw, like, I think the chance of him being a Cub next year are actually pretty small. Like, I think that
Craig said today that he's going to be a Cub.
Yeah. Well,
and if Craig says it's got to be true.
I was going to say, even after Judd gave him the vote of confidence when asked by reporters about
if they really
he got a vote of confidence from Carter and he got a vote of confidence from Craig. He got them all 3. So they're aligned. They're aligned and they're lying. They've all said he's going to be there no matter what. To me, the only way the Bregman rumors even make any sense is if you're trading Nico or Shaw. the only way it makes any
Right.
sense. at all.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing is that if you can get the other thing that I would consider is if the like, I don't know, do the Marlins have a second baseman? Oh, yeah, they have Xavier Edwards, right? Is he any good? Is he still good? But if the Marlins were any, like, I don't know, like, I don't, I can't see a scenario which trading Horner would actually, as a centerpiece, would get you a good pitcher, would get you a good starter. Right.
Right. I'm not saying that.
trading
I'm
Cabrera.
saying if you look at the Bregman thing, it
Yeah,
means
yeah.
to me,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they
no,
sign him, it means
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
somebody
Yes.
either Shaw is leaving
Yep.
or Shaw is going to play second base.
Yep.
It's one of those two things.
Yeah.
And they can say, well, he's going to be a utility player this year. Well, that just means you've already decided you're not keeping Nico.
No, right.
You're going to let him go as a free agent,
Right.
and Shaw's going to take over second base.
Right. And
I don't see any other reason. And I don't. To me, if you didn't sign Bregman last year, you don't sign him.
Yeah, you wrote that. I don't know that I necessarily agree with you. I think Bregman's still a very, very good player.
But why would they be more willing to commit to him now when they have to pay him more and keep him longer, and they wouldn't do it last year?
I'm not saying that it's realistic that they're going to do it.
I think I'm with Andy on this, that like it's kind of the same as like the Bush versus Alonso discussion. Is that I heard you say this on the podcast with Dave too, that like the trajectory of Shaw and the decline of Bregman are kind of like
I even did
coming to a
so
meeting
for
point
people
right now.
For people watching, I even did this. I did the Matt Shaw Alex Bregman thing, and they're like they're getting close to converging.
Well,
as far as offense and defensive production?
I think when talking about Matt Shaw, your palm is in the wrong position.
Should be like this?
No, it's not.
Oh,
yeah. You I actually have to do
like,
it.
Like a certain owner of Tesla would do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's excited. He wants to go to the Nats and wear the red hat. That's why.
Right. Exactly.
He wants to get traded for Mackenzie Gore. So then, Praz, you also heard Dave bring up a very good point about just how terrible Mackenzie Gore was in the second half last year, which I kind of laughed off till I looked at the stats and went, holy shit. And his only point there is you need to be pretty sure that wasn't injury related.
Yeah,
right?
I think
if he just had a bad half, then
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're going to trade a lot to get him,
Yeah, 'cause
and then he
there's a-
comes and his arm is, hanging to its. But
Right.
it's not like the Cubs wouldn't trade for a Nats pitcher who wasn't.
I was just going to bring this up. Yep.
Soroka just signed with somebody, right?
Diamondbacks for 1
Yeah, he
year,
got-
$7.5 million.
I was really surprised the Cubs. To me, I don't understand the Cubs, right? Like they get so excited about this guy, and they're like, "Oh, he could be a reliever, he could be a starter, he could be whatever," and then he's hurt, he barely pitches for him, and then they're just like, "Okay, well, that's not."
Yeah.
Gonna work. Like I've thought for sure they would sign him for a year, especially when he got a 1-year deal.
Uh-huh.
You're like, shouldn't that have been the Cubs who did that?
Right,
like,
right.
okay, you identified these things you were going to address and fix, and but you decided, well, we got to pay him real money this time, so no,
Yeah,
we're not gonna
fuck
do
it,
that.
It's funny. I do feel like the Diamondbacks went after Soroka for basically what would have been the same reason that the Cubs could have signed Soroka for, in that like they're going to be without Corbin Burns for a decent amount of next year, as will the Cubs be without, Justin Steele for a decent amount next year. So he's like, kind of the perfect guy to like fill a spot start early in the season and then switch him over to the bullpen when you get that guy back.
But the difference there is, unless Steele has a setback, the Cubs are going to have Steele for a far greater period of time than the D-backs will be lucky to get Burns back next year. I mean, he got hurt at just that point where, yes, it's possible he could be back next year, but it's also possible that even if things go well, he's not back next year.
Well,
Like
when has a
maybe
setback
the
ever
Marlins-
happened with an injury on the Cubs, though, Andy? I mean, come on.
yeah.
Never.
It might be.
Plus, remember, Steele, he didn't have the full-blown Tommy John this time. He just had
That's
the
a good point.
bridge one or whatever they call it. It's like, okay, whatever. It's still, you sewed his elbow back together. I don't care. Whether it was whether you fixed 100% of it or 97% of it, he had a fucked up elbow.
Yeah.
Let's hope I know we've become this, all the Tommy John surgery is so good. We just assume everybody's going to be fine when they come back from it. It's the second one. And there's a lot of times where a guy's second one, he's never any good. after
But there's
that.
guys who have been good after. So.
There's plenty of guys who have had 2 and it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think we're to this point now, we just make this assumption that it just works.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
There's no guarantee that it works. The Cubs might be they're still looking for, like, there's the one move they seem like they're absolutely, they obviously have to find bullpen. They'd have a bunch of empty chairs if they started to, just Palencia and Matan sitting there looking at each other like, where's everybody else?
Yeah.
This is it. It's just us.
You pitch it today.
Is that they seem like they're absolutely going to get another starter somehow.
Yeah.
And some of that, I'm sure, is Steele's not going to be ready on day 1,
Yeah.
so you're going to need a guy. But also, I mean, they have a lot of injury uncertainty about not their whole staff, but I've had the concerns about Cade because you jumped up his workload so much, and Boyd, you jumped up his workload so much, and then Steele is literally coming off an injury. It's funny, I watched Craig's press conference from Orlando, and he is like legit as excited as he gets. He's like legitimately excited that Shota's back.
Is
like,
he? Cool.
Yes. Like, he is convinced Shota is going to have a very good year.
Right.
And I thought the most interesting point he made was, he said he goes, after his first injury, he was off and we could never quite get him right. And he said, I think it was because he goes, it's almost easier to fix a pitcher if they're way off than if they're barely off.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like things look,
if it's more obvious,
you can't just tell by looking at what he's doing. And he goes, I really feel like with a full off season and Shota comes back, we're going to get the good Shota again.
Good.
And he made, if he's lying, which there's no reason to, because they've got Shota for the year no matter what. They can't even trade him till June if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
He literally seemed very enthusiastic about the fact that Shota will be back.
Like, it was always like coming over. The things that happened to Shota last year were just things he sort of expect to happen to him. That's the one. Like, I don't know if that's good or bad, right? Like, he's a fly ball pitcher, and you know that he's just going to give up a home run here and there. Like, that's just how it's going to be. The problem, I think, at the end was that he was also giving up base runners.
Yes, right.
And so,
and he was losing some velocity too.
Yeah, it was a little bit easier to team up. So hopefully,
he came back from the first hamstring pretty well, but when he aggravated it, it was never right after that. That was he gave up. I don't know for sure, but he gave up a good number of his homers came in like those last 8 or 10 starts.
Yes,
I mean, he had one. Didn't he give up? He gave up 4 in one start, I think. Or maybe
he gave up a
5.
bunch. Then he gave up a bunch a couple times, like, if I remember right. Like, didn't Milwaukee tee him up for?
Yes, they did
a bunch.
So it prompted. Well, it didn't, but Bruce Levine, he crawled out from under a park bench somewhere, and he was asking questions. And he said, he asked Craig about and I feel like I've debunked this. I don't know why Bruce doesn't know I've debunked this. But he's talking about, are you worried, like, in free agency now when you go to try to get hitters, if they look at Wrigley and the fact that it's a tough place to hit now, blah, blah, blah. And Craig basically said, it's only been a year or 2 or whatever. I don't think that's that big a deal, blah, blah, blah. But Wrigley was not, 2 years ago, Wrigley was a bad place to hit.
Yeah.
Its park factor was like an 87.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yep.
It was a 98 last year.
Yeah.
That's basically league average, so that's no big deal. 2 years ago, it was 108.
Yeah.
The idea, the only person that talks about it like it's irrevocably changed is fucking Eduardo Perez, who every time they're on Sunday Night Baseball talks about the Gallagher Way building and acts like it completely changed. It's like, that building's been there, Eduardo. Offense didn't go in the tank and stay there. It's weather. It was 2 years ago. The wind blew in all the time. And Craig was like, well, he said, it's also relative. He's like, it depends when you pitched. He's like, Colin Ray, at least twice, pitched on days when it was howling out. So ask Colin Ray if he thinks Wrigley was a tough place to hit last year.
I also think that once hitters sign a big free agent contract, there's a couple things. I think that teams make contract decisions, based on factors that go way deeper than whether a hitter has hit home runs in a ballpark or not. Like, the idea that you can now do all these analytics and figure out that, hey, the wind actually is blowing in, how hard this guy hits the ball matters a little bit more than when the wind is blowing and he's not hitting home run. The results don't matter as much when they're making these decisions. I'm not saying they don't matter at all, but like the decisions are made on the underlying stuff.
Yeah. I could see a hitter, if you're going to sign a 1-year deal with the Cubs.
Yeah.
I could see a hitter being leery about it, being like, well, I mean, what if I have one of those summers where the wind blows in and my numbers suck and I don't get my money? But if you're signing for 5 years, you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, you said that about how they take, the Cubs famously 2 years ago traded for Isaac Paredes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though if you had taken his home run chart from the Trop, those were all outs at Wrigley. And then he shows up and he had one extra base hit in 2 months.
Yes.
At Wrigley Field.
It was exactly right on.
And it was a home run into the basket. It was the only extra base hit he had at Wrigley.
Yeah, because that's exactly right. So that's my point. Is that like, I mean, I was just, maybe he was the only one available. I don't know, whatever the Cubs did, whatever they did. But that's sort of my point. Is that like these things, like the underlying stats that most teams do, maybe judges fucked that one up. Like I said, maybe he was just available, but maybe that goes to his incompetence. Which,
I mean, at the time, he looked like an upgrade from Morel at third base because that was
he was.
So
even just defensively, he was an upgrade. And I think there was the thought that an extreme pull hitter, even if his home runs went down, he would hit well at Wrigley. Yeah, and he probably, if he hadn't been foolishly sent off to Houston for Kyle Tucker, he probably would have, had a huge year. He looks like a guy that if the Red Sox don't keep Bregman, that they're interested in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're thinking the same thing, like just hit the ball off the monster.
Yeah.
And even though it's funny that Bregman, part of the reason Bregman went to the Red Sox was to do that, and then had a terrible year yet in Boston and a great year everywhere else.
Yeah.
If you look at his splits, he did not hit well at Boston at all, but he hit really well overall.
It's funny. I remember seeing, is it Paul Hembekides, who's with ESPN, who's like one of their big stat nerds, who, when Bregman was a free agent last year and, the Cubs got involved in all the rumors and everything, like he was saying like Bregman should steer clear of the Cubs because he's a gap power hitter and Wrigley would be terrible for the type of hitter that he is because he strictly only hits for doubles. And I looked it up, and like 4 guys on the Cubs in 2024 had more doubles at Wrigley than Bregman had at Minute Maid Park as an Astro. So it's like, is it really that much of a downgrade if he had signed here?
Yeah, and gap hitters do well at Wrigley because that's where Wrigley is shorter than other parks.
Yeah.
Because the well, it gets deeper down the lines, but it's very forgiving in the gaps. So he actually, that should have been an incentive for him to want to come, because where his power typically is, he wouldn't have to hit the ball as far at Wrigley.
Yeah.
Who was I going to talk about next?
Well, I do have. Let me mention. This.
Go ahead.
I did find it sort of interesting that there was some loose talk of the Cubs being interested in that Japanese slugger coming over, Murakami,
the third baseman.
Yeah,
Murakami. Yep.
And they like to play him at third base.
And the pitcher too, right? Am I?
Oh, am I? Yeah. I figured they'd be interested in him, but I was, like I said, I was a little pleasantly surprised because it's kind of interesting. It's the guy strikes out a ton in Japan where nobody strikes.
Yeah, right.
Like,
and also not a very good third baseman, right?
Not a very good third baseman.
Right.
I think part of it might be hubris, it might be something to it, is that they think they can fix him, and like that's what all the teams are thinking. Like there's a twitch that they can make. It sort of goes back to I was talking what we discussed way back ago about the scouting and things like that. Like if you feel there's a twitch you can make based on video to get this guy, great. And especially if nobody else thinks that he's any good, that it might depress his market.
That's the only way you would do it.
Yeah.
Right? Is if you thought he was going to be a bargain. Because if you're going to pay market value for him on the idea that you're going to fix him, you somehow need to be 100% sure you're going to fix him.
Yeah, or
because otherwise you've just pissed away money.
Right, yeah.
And if you're Jed, you know from experience that if you sign a long-term deal and it doesn't work out, you just have to live with that deal.
Yeah,
the Ricketts are not going to let you eat it.
Yeah,
would be a real nice time for left field to be open, so you could just let him do his thing out there and not have it kill
Well,
you.
that's sort of that might be part of it, right? If you really do sign him to play third base, you make Matt Shaw your roving third baseman, and you kind of maybe have a DH spot available eventually. If you give yourself enough of that sort of flexibility, it might make sense to sign him. Again, to your point, like I don't know about like giving him 8 years and $300 million, like nothing like
And
that.
I don't know, you need to. I mean, he doesn't
Right.
he doesn't seem like that.
And that's my point. Right, exactly.
He seems more like a mid-tier Japanese
Yeah.
free agent, a guy you can get for 3 years at relatively reasonable
Yeah.
money. It's not gonna kill you.
Right. And I think even something like around what Seiya got, maybe a little bit less than that. I don't know if that's a bad, if it's a bad play. Like if it works out and you really can fix him, I think the rewards are pretty huge.
Craig was asked about Moises
Mm-hmm.
and basically, could he use more time
Mm-hmm.
at Iowa? And Craig basically said no.
Yeah.
He goes, he should be in the big leagues. He's a big league hitter. He should be in the big leagues. And I said, well, is he going to catch? And he's like, he'll probably catch some. He said, but he'd have to be better than the other two guys.
Yeah.
And he said, but him not catching isn't going to cost him. We're still going to find a bats for him.
Yeah,
he's going to be there. He's going to be their DH. And he should be.
Good.
He's one of the best hitters on their team.
Yeah.
Like they can't, they don't have this luxury of, and Craig's really high on Moises. He basically said, well, Moises had to play a lot in September, and he basically put up the numbers that Tucker would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay. I mean, he was good, Craig, but that's, we get a little carried away. But it's funny because I wonder if that just means Craig is that much higher on Moises than he is on Owen Casey.
Yeah, probably.
Or if in Craig's mind, there's going to be a spot for Casey to play, which in my mind, my fear would be that that's Seiya. My hope would be that it's Hap.
Right.
That they, finally just go, buddy, you might want to get a jump on free agency, go play somewhere else and why don't you go to the Reds? They want you. We'll eat some of their money and you can just go there. I thought it was funny that the Reds were in on Schwarber.
Yep.
The Pirates made him a 4-year, $125 million offer, like a real big boy offer.
Yeah.
Oof.
The Reds made him a less competitive, but a good offer. And then how this shit happens with the Reds, I don't know. Somebody in their front office basically said to a reporter, because like, well, so you're looking to spend now, right? It's like, no, that was just for Schwarber because he's from the suburbs, and we figured we could sell more tickets. But there's nobody else that fits that, so we're not going after anybody else. Why would you say that out loud? Your fans are at least somewhat excited that you look like you were going to spend, and you immediately have to tamp it down. Like, no, fuck, we're not doing that. Are you crazy? But like I pointed out, you bring home, Ian went to college at Cincinnati.
University of Cincinnati, exactly.
They'll be packing them in to watch him play.
Yeah, how could they not? The Cubs could even throw in a few $1 million. Hey, buy yourself some Skyline chili.
Yep. So I don't know what their I do unfortunately think that if Moises is on the roster the whole year, he will have plenty of catching opportunities because I'm sure Miguel Amaya will trip over the fungal bat or something and break his leg in nine places or whatever.
God, I really like Amaya.
His history of staying healthy is abominable.
Yeah,
so,
it's awful. Oh my God! Like it's at the point where he's becoming a tragic character. Like
I'll just throw this out now that Orioles have catcher covered with Basayo in the long extension. There was a thought that Adley Rutschman was going to move to first base. Now they have first base covered with signing Pete Alonso. Cubs?
Oh,
he's there for the tanking if you want him.
I'd take a Rutschman. See if you can.
How much are you going to pay Adley Rutschman to back up Carson Kelly?
Hey, he's still only ARB eligible. I mean, he's probably only going to make like $6 or $7 million this year. 6, 7.
Is this his first arbitration? Is that what we said?
He's ARB eligible, but I think he only made about 5 million this past season.
He made 5.5 last year.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he's going to this. And he was hurt last year. He's been pretty good. I would take Rutschman a heartbeat, man. That guy's he's having 2 down years, but man, whatever. I mean, catching sucks, but I would take him.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know. If you're not going to find catching time for Ballesteros, and you're banking on a regression from Carson Kelly this year, I feel like that's the best possible starting catcher option you have out there if you can get him.
Who, Rutschman? 100%.
Yes.
No. I'm not. I'm not. I wouldn't advocate for getting JT Realmuto.
Oh, he's
No, I
broken
wouldn't either.
down.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, if you could trade.
Although him and Shaw would get along famously.
Oh, really?
They'd start their own podcast probably.
Whoa.
Okay.
They would get a Turning Point USA chapter in the Cubs clubhouse.
Yeah, right.
That's not how that works. You guys are too old.
I mean, I wonder. I mean, don't you think the Cubs, hoping that Miguel stays healthy, that in their mind that's their number one catcher, as Amaya?
Yeah,
With Kelly.
yes,
Kelly playing more than a typical backup, but still basically. I mean, that was how it was trending until even with Carson going nuts for the month.
Yeah, Amaya is a better catcher, better hitter.
Craig was still clearly more comfortable with Amaya catching more often than, and they were. It was like a 60-40, not a 80-20.
Mm-hmm.
But
and now that you mention it too, like Amaya is the catcher that has caught Shota for the majority of his starts up until the time that he got hurt last year. So if Craig is really set on, or if he's really excited about Shota being back, I have to imagine that, he's probably banking on some playing time for Amaya then.
Amaya only was held for 28 games last year.
Man, I feel so bad for the kid. I mean, that was the whole thing. Like, they used up his 3 options because they had to put him on the 40-man roster. He's clearly a good baseball player.
Yes,
he
is.
Clearly a very good baseball
player. It's borderline tragedy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Play.
He's a tragic character. Like it's
the one season where he was healthy was 2024 when they couldn't send him to the minors, so they had to carry him as the extra catcher.
Yeah,
and then he ended up getting to play a lot at the end of the year because Yan Gomes just completely collapsed and they had to cut him.
Yep.
He played 117 games that year, but still it's instructive that he played in 117 games and he only had 328 at bats. Yep. So it was a lot of him coming in late in games.
Yeah.
But yeah, he the last month of 24 he figured it out and he hit.
Yep.
And then he had a 500 slug in the 28 games he played last year.
He made that change, like whatever we talked about it at the preview show.
Well, that was where they gave. He got Pete's leg kick.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
yes, that's right.
They benched both of them, and they took the leg kick away from Pete and gave it to Amaya, and they fixed both of them.
Yeah, in fact, for a while, what took Amaya a while to get used to it is he kept lifting up the wrong leg.
That's right.
He was the back leg.
No, it was the right leg.
Do you want me to bet left-handed?
Yeah,
no.
yeah. What? I don't get it. What do you?
Stop showing me Pete's film, then. It bothered me that Pete. Well, the reason Pete had the leg kick was he was modeling after Nick Madrigal.
That's right.
It's like, Pete, no, come on.
Yeah, stop.
You can aim a little higher than that, right? Literally, you can aim higher than Nick Madrigal.
Right.
How could
you
you
can lift your leg up higher than Nick Madrigal.
Yeah.
I was really hoping somebody would sign Nick at the winter meetings because I just get worried whenever he's out available.
Is he he's hurt? He got hurt pretty badly last year, right?
He missed the whole season. He got hurt early in spring training. Didn't play a single game for the Mets. So they're going to want to bring him back because I'm sure that he was the centerpiece of their whole, like, their plan. All right. So yeah, we got Juan Soto, but we got Nick Madrigal. Now that's the guy that's going to lead us to the, In fact, that's why they made Juan Soto steal all those bases because Madrigal was supposed to steal them.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Juan do it.
Look, we got it.
You're going to have to steal 40 bases now, Juan.
It's like in Moneyball, that scene where they're all around the table and he's like, "Hey, look, we're not trying to replace Jason Giambi. We just need to replace that production."
Yeah. They used Juan Soto to replace Nick Madrigal in the aggregate.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Juan Soto, here's his career stolen bases: 5, 12, 6, 9, 6, 0, 12, 7, and then 38 to lead the National League. Like, what? It's funny. They talk about a terrible, got off that awful start.
Yeah.
6.2 WAR, led the league with a 396 on base. He only slugged 525.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good.
Dave and I talked about this, but I was nice to see Bob Nightingale report that Zach Gallen had signed with the Cubs, and then had to immediately say that they hadn't.
Oh,
that was
classic Bob.
How do you get
classic.
How do you get it
Bob.
that wrong? He had the numbers. He had the contract details, and there aren't any. That's a good Lord.
At this point, you got to think that somebody's fucking with him, right?
I would think. And then it turns out that literally at the time that he reported it, Gallen was at his own wedding.
Is that right? Gallen was
He's a little
married?
busy, Bob. Well,
Yeah.
He's getting married. When? Now.
Well, literally right now.
So you're saying he didn't sign then?
Signed a different contract, but
I don't. That just feels too Cub to me. That's the guy they would sign.
Yeah.
It's like, don't we have him already? And he's got weird glasses.
Right.
We already have
Ethan Roberts.
we have Ethan Roberts. We have
Jordan
Assad.
Wicks.
Oh, Javier
Jordan
Assad,
Wicks. Oh, we
too,
got-
yeah. Wow,
Actually,
we're,
maybe
we're
they
really
could just
loading up on
share-
all the glasses.
Maybe that's why they
guys.
want it.
Yeah,
They can
yeah.
get a group. They can get a group discount on
What's
the
your
glasses.
prescription?
Yeah.
Right. Do they all have the same prescription?
Well,
Just
We
rotate
know what
through one.
Javier Assad's, I think, is 0-0. I think those are it's plastic. It's the one thing I'm gonna see if Mooney wants to come on this pod sometime this winter, and I'm gonna give him an assignment. I want to know what the deal with Javier Assad's glasses are. Does he need them? Does he not need them? He wears them sometimes. He doesn't wear them other times. He broke them in that one start in Toronto and just didn't use them for the rest of the game, and he was fine. It's like, what is with the glasses? It's like me. I have to take mine off to read.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you see him like he's like he's going to put them on his hat to like look into the catcher and then put them back on. Like, are you nearsighted? What is with the glasses? But I just feel like Gallen is. I mean, we've got Tyon and we've got Boyd and we've got like this part's covered. Instead of spending $22 million on Gallen, which honestly, that's the only reason I think he's 22 is because that's what Bob reported. He's probably he wants 30, I would guess, given his track record.
Yeah, I don't
Just spend that money. Take some other money and spend that money on somebody actually good. Somebody's going to make a difference.
I don't hate the idea of trading for somebody. Like, do what you have to do to get Edward Cabrera or Contra's fine.
I do think that's the play. There's no free agent out there that is a number one starter.
There is one who I would take in a heartbeat tomorrow if the Cubs want to sign him, and that's Framber Valdez.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You do that even with the whole catcher controversy?
Oh, he's not doing that to Carson Kelly.
Yeah,
he better not.
Not to a star. I say I'm a star like Carson Kelly.
Yeah, I think Valdez. I mean, he's just perfect for what the Cubs have on defense. He's throws like 60% ground balls. Like, it's ridiculous.
But I think the play is, it would be nice to pair another young-ish starter with Horton.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with
you. If your 1-2 are Cade Horton and Mackenzie
Matt
Gore
Boyd,
or Edward Cabrera, you feel really good about yourself.
Yep. Let's go
for the next 3 years, not just.
Yes.
It feels like the Cubs are just constantly patching a hole.
Yes.
And then next year we're going to just patch it again, which is clearly what they do with the bullpen.
Like, at some point, if you sign nothing but like these sleepers and like if you're constantly just looking for the market inefficiency in starters, right? Whatever you think it is, like if you're constantly looking for Matt Boyd at 2 years, $29 million, you're just always going to wind up with a bunch of Matt Boyds. It's not bad, but it's just like, as we keep saying, that's just pretty good. Like, at some point, you need somebody who's going to be a Cy Young contender.
And I hope I'm wrong, because A, he's a Cub and they need him to be good, and B, he seems like a good dude. But what are the odds Matt Boyd has a good year next year?
Yeah, I mean, I
don't think they're very good.
We probably got the one good year out of him.
I don't know that I necessarily buy that. Like, I look, Matt Boyd at the end of the year was just a, number 4 starter. Like, he's fine. Number 3 starter, right? He's fine, right? But if you've got Shota and you've got another starter up front, and then your 5th starter is Taillon, I don't know, you feel pretty good about it. Although I kind of feel like they might be trying to trade him also. Like, I think they're trying to trade anybody who's only got a year left. I think that, I agree with you. You need somebody up front with Horton. And even with Horton, right? I don't necessarily worry about the innings he pitched, other than how it affects. Like, he got hurt again at the end of the year.
Yeah,
like
he has it's not as long yet, but he's got a Miguel Amaya injury history.
Yeah, it's getting there. Yeah,
and to just ignore it and be like, he'll be fine. That's not a plan.
No.
The plan is you go get another guy, and then if he stays healthy, you're in great shape. Because now you got two guys at the top carrying you the whole way, which you need anyway.
Yeah. And fuck it, like you go to a 6-man rotation. Like if you actually get 6 good starters who are worth starting Major League Baseball games, great.
It would be very interesting to me. The Cubs have 2 guys signed for 27 now. They have Dansby and Phil Maton.
Yeah.
Yay. And then the guys that they can renew, like Pete and Bush and those guys. But this is their chance, and I don't think they'll take advantage of it, to completely restructure the way they structure their own payroll. Because to me, they don't do it right at all. They spend too much money on second-tier free agents. So they're constantly chasing that. I would much rather see when they clear the books. They won't do this, but they should be, a big market team like them should be trying to sign stars and then fill in the rest with their supposed brilliant scouting and development and their pitch lab and all that stuff. But they talk about all the time, but they don't actually do it. They'll give Jameson Taillon $16 million a year. And you should be able to get Jameson Taillon-esque production for less than $16 million a year, which would allow you to then spend some of that money on somebody else.
For what you're paying like Colin Ray at this
point. Take that money, like they will pay out over like 8 guys, the amount of money that it feels like they would be far better off to pay to 2 guys who are really, really good, and then figure out how do you fill in those spots. Even if you look at like the Dodgers, right? Like the Dodgers, they have the luxury that when Tanner Scott sucks, they just go sign Edwin Diaz, right? But what the Dodgers' priority is stars, and then they'll figure out the other stuff.
Yeah,
like they've got Mookie and they've got Freddie and they've got Shohei, and then like they'll have a gaping hole in left field for the whole season. But they also have a card to play, which is we have playoff Kike Hernandez.
Yeah, right.
Like yes, he sucks during the regular season, but he's going to be really good.
Yeah,
or we'll go get they're perfectly comfortable like. Tommy Edman is not a great player, but they identified him as a useful player. He's a freaking World Series MVP 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's a very, very good baseball player.
We act like their whole team 1 to 26 are all these stars.
No,
but they're not.
Right, I agree.
And so the Cubs, without having to spend the same amount of money, even though it'd be nice if they would, that's the model to follow.
Yeah.
Right? It's to have 3 or 4 great players and then good players.
Yeah.
And the Cubs operate on the no bad players philosophy, which is we're going to have a good player at every position.
Yes.
Well, that's fine, but you don't have a great player at any position. And so when you get into the playoffs, you don't have a difference maker. You don't have somebody who's going to like throw you on their back. Right. Because a good example of this is if Kyle Tucker had played like a star in the playoffs last year, say us showing up for the playoffs and suddenly being amazing. That would have carried you a couple of rounds.
100%.
Right.
Yep.
But
but damn near did.
Because that's what you need, right? You need your stars to play like stars, and you need a couple of the good players to just go nuts in the playoffs. And every team that wins, that happens.
And here's what the Dodgers really did, right? Like and they're paying those 3 stars. I think Freddie makes Freddie is probably the lowest paid of those 3, right? Between Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie.
Probably, yeah.
But they also have built their rotation to just be. I mean, they could potentially have 5 number 1 starters or 4 at least, right? Glasnow, Snell, Ohtani. Who am I missing?
Yamamoto.
Yamamoto, yeah.
Yes.
Just the World Series MVP.
Yeah.
Pitched every game in October for them.
Right. Like, holy crap.
He's warming up right now.
Yeah.
Getting ready.
Yeah.
He's already
not to pitch in spring training or any regular season games, just for October.
But that's the thing, right? Is that like that's how a real team operates. Like when they signed Edwin Diaz, it was like, yeah, of course they did. Like, of course they did. Like they know that they have that hole, so they just went out and they got the best possible player because they knew they had to round that out. And so now they have and they still have in the bullpen they may not have room for Roki Sasaki, and he may just put him in the bullpen and have him be the 8th inning, or have him be kind of a really, really good reliever for a year or 2, and kind of then move him into the rotation, right? Like whatever.
How quickly Roki Sasaki becomes an afterthought after he was like the most coveted player on the market this past offseason.
He's not an afterthought. That's the thing. I think.
Well, I mean, just on that team specifically, though. on that team
I don't think
specifically.
I don't think the Dodgers
Well-
thinking that. I think the Dodgers are thinking of him as, here's this guy who's incredibly talented. Figure out what's wrong. He was really, really good in the playoffs, one inning at a time. Let's see if that works. And it's frankly what, Chris Sale was really good at doing that.
Yeah.
Garrett Crochet was really good in doing that. There have been and those are just two that come to mind, but like there've been a few players who have been good. You talked about it with Kate Horton, Andy, right? Like that's the idea, and that's what they might do with Sasaki, because they don't have to like rush him to be a starter,
Yeah.
because they've got all these other starters.
Well, you could see the Dodgers if their starting rotation stays relatively healthy at the beginning of the year. You could see them have Roki go to Albuquerque.
Yeah, maybe.
Just to make starts. And then if it all clicks again, like it did at the end of last year, now they have the chance they could trade Tyler Glasnow, and they could open a spot for they could find, we've got a hole. Well, we'll trade Glasnow, we'll fill the hole we have, and we plug Roki into his spot. I remember I guess we were in college when the Braves traded, or when the Braves signed Greg Maddux.
Yes.
Right. I can remember, because I grew up a Cub fan. I first heard the rumor that the Braves were saying, they're not interested. They have Tom Glavine, they have John Smoltz, they have Steve Avery. What do they need another guy for? Well, that's not the way they thought, right? Which was, we could always use more. There's a great pitcher on the market. We're just going to get that pitcher. The Cubs, to me, still operate in the we're covered.
Yeah.
We don't have to improve on the players.
We got enough
Yeah.
Juan Guzman's and Jamie Navarro's here. Yeah.
Right.
And it's astonishing to me how quickly their aspirations dropped after they won a World Series. I mean, when Theo came, the biggest difference was everything changed to, what do we need to do to win a World Series? We're going to operate completely differently. And they did. Although Jim Hendry kind of operated under that, but in an impulsive, I'll get this guy and this guy and we'll do it. Like Jim, I think when history is very kind to Jim Hendry, because he made a lot of really good deals for the Cubs. It didn't work, but they had a very talented roster.
Yeah.
And it does also help that that Sam Zell basically opened up the checkbook for him in 07 and 08 to just go wild.
Sam Zell wanted to open up the checkbook because he knew that if he got good players and people got excited, then that would increase revenue.
For sure, to try and sell the team.
But that part was true, but Jim built he built the 03 and 04 Cubs.
Yes, no, I agree.
He made the trade for Derek Lee, he made the trade for Ramos Ramirez, he signed Greg Maddux, he got LaTroy, which at the time, that would have worked if they hadn't had to turn LaTroy into the closer.
Right.
But then they kind of settled into this when they couldn't spend for a while, it got, I'll have to sign Ted Lilly when I'm getting an EKG, and I'll have to get Jason Marquis or whatever. But anyway, but Theo came, they immediately was like, okay, we're going to strip this down, but when we rebuild it, we're rebuilding it purposefully because we need to have the best team in baseball to win.
Yes.
And they won. And now with Theo, it's part of the reason I'm sure Theo quit when he quit.
Yeah,
the Ricketts were like, we just need to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you talked about that. Yep.
And so they've settled to a point now where it's really hard to get out of that. You've put yourself into this mode of, and if I hear them one more time, Tom will say it at the fucking Cub convention again, which is, we just need to get into the playoffs because anything can happen. Yeah, well, guess what? It usually doesn't.
Right. The Dodgers have won 2 in a row.
The best team is usually the team that wins. So why don't you try to build the best fucking team?
Yeah, I'm sure the Cincinnati Reds are real happy with just getting in the playoffs this year and being essentially spring training games for the Dodgers. Yeah.
They were there for 6 hours and went home.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like the Cubs did in 20.
But yeah, I think that's right. And like there's opportunity, like there's players who can sign, and I was going to the one thing that I will say about playoff teams, and I think it's true a little bit of the Blackhawks playoff run, like any rebuilding teams, they always seem to make one trade where you get somebody who you just didn't think you would get. Like the Blackhawks got Patrick Sharp, and he turned into really good. I think the Cubs kind of lucked out by getting Jake Arrieta. Right? And it's just like you need a trade like that every once in a while, right. But you can only do that when you're kind of when you're blowing everything up. Like those trades don't happen.
Rizzo kind of equates to that too, because at the time he was like a prospect whose stock was a little bit down after.
I don't know.
A cup of coffee.
I
with
feel
the Padres.
like Jed and Theo knew what they were getting.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Because
Like, that
coming
was a
from
guy
the place where Jed was. So yeah,
they were taking of it. Jed knew from leaving the Padres that he had a far higher opinion of Anthony than the guys he was leaving behind.
Yeah.
And when they went and got Yonder Alonso,
Yep.
then that's when the Cubs pounced and they got Rizzo. They were
But-
very
Right.
excited. They couldn't believe that they got him. The Jake thing, the Cubs had identified a change to make to
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah.
But they were obviously, no one was ready for him to just
Right.
turn into the greatest
Right.
pitcher on the planet for
Right,
a season and a
right.
half.
No.
But they felt like they were getting a top half of the rotation pitcher from
Yeah.
the Orioles. They felt like the Orioles had fucked him up and it gotten to the point where he didn't trust them anymore.
Yeah.
And he was going to go somewhere else and get good. And the Cubs wanted it to be them. The amazing thing about that was they didn't just get Jake. They got maybe the
Pedro.
best middle
Yep.
reliever the Cubs have ever had in Pedro
right.
Strop.
Yeah. I don't think there's an argument there. I think
I
that's
mean,
true.
Yeah.
You can't nail a
At least
and
in
of
our
course Jeff
lifetimes.
Samardzija was pissed.
Yeah.
All right, tell me how you get better trading Scott Feldman.
Oh, there you go. Well, then they traded him.
It's all right, Jeff. You'll be up next year for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a dipshit.
Good old Jeff's vagina.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be very interested to see what the Padres do. They apparently are. AJ is like ready to blow it all up and just,
There was some.
blow it up with the idea being that he's basically been told his payroll is unsustainable.
Yeah.
And in his mind, he can shake it up and he can still end up with a competitive team. And the funny thing is, one of the guys they're rumored to go get is Mackenzie Gore.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just go get it
Their
back.
original prospect too. Yeah.
Just like who else is? Oh, the Red Sox apparently are talking to the White Sox about Kyle Teal.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
Yes,
I was
I
getting
saw
back.
that.
Everybody's
Yeah.
just trying to trade for their guys back.
Right that wrong. I saw. I don't know where it even came up, but I saw that they're definitely not trading Fernando Tatis. And I'm like, holy shit! If there's even a chance.
Yeah, that's your move if you're the Cubs. Is
Oh,
to
God.
go do that. 'Cause he's,
100%. Like no doubt.
I mean, he had that contract, which looked ridiculous at the time. Now, and they
Looks
always do.
amazing.
Anytime a great player signs a contract, everybody's like, "Oh my god!" But within a few years, all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Well, that's a pretty good deal." Yeah,
Right.
no shit, it is.
The issue with Tatis's contract, and that's kind of the thing about these contracts that get signed for players who are way pre-free agency, is that they're very backloaded.
Yeah.
So Tatis is, you make more money than you would if you got minimum salaries, right? Might be a couple $1,000,000, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like, man. But yeah, if there's any chance of of the Cubs getting him, I would.
Yeah, so the Padres have only paid so far $31 million of his huge contract.
Yeah, of his
The
340.
rest of it is all due. He
Yep.
makes 20 this year. It's 26. He'll make
Yeah.
25. Then it's 36 a year for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 6 years.
Yeah.
But his deal runs out when he's 35.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So it doesn't go till he's like 38. And honestly, by 2029, when you start paying him 36 million, there's going to be like 12 guys
Right.
making 40.
easily.
That'll be the
take-
the price for a Jameson Tyone caliber pitcher by then.
It's like it's the Bryce Harper contract, right? The
Yeah.
the only difference is he is, like I said, is just way backloaded. So you still have 10 years and $300 million left on it or whatever it is, right?
Do you know who Fernando Tatis Jr.'s number one similar batter is?
Ooh.
Kyle Tucker.
Oh,
There you go. You lost Kyle Tucker,
Or you could
replaced
just-
the most similar thing to Kyle Tucker.
Or you could probably pay Kyle Tucker $36 million a year and you probably just keep him.
And get Fernando Tatis Jr.
It's like we're going to trade. We found out a way, just like George Costanza. We figured out a way to trade for Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey Jr. Going to go tell Mr. Wilhelm about it in the morning.
Hey, you know what? It probably won't ever happen. But the great thing that would come from this is that if the Padres were willing to give up Fernando Tatis, they might want a Gold Glove outfielder back to replace the Gold Glove outfielder that's leaving.
that only makes sense. That only makes
know.
sense.
Hey, Mr. Happ,
I
how
would-
you like Southern California?
Yeah.
I would feel much better about this whole thing if I thought there was a chance that the Cubs have at least called Happ's agent to find out what it would take to get him to waive his no trade. Just investigate it. Be like, look, what if we get an offer? What would it take for Ian to be incentivized? Just so they know.
I think that, like, I just don't. part of the problem with the Cubs now is a bit of their sentimentality, right? I know they don't with managers, they don't necessarily give a shit, but I think that Ian Happ,
Thank
like
Christ they don't.
he's got to be, like there's like Ricketts must love him or something. Like there's got to be something. Like they're not. Like I think even if they had the opportunity to try, like when his contract runs out, all right, whatever. But I don't think that there's any chance that they're looking to.
No, I don't. That's why I said I don't think they'll ever. I think they would feel guilty about going to him and asking him, and they won't do it. I do finally think, and I'm wrong so much. I hope I'm not wrong. I do finally think they're already planning to part ways with him at the end of the year. Like this is it.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I always worried that we're just going to get some. Oh, Ian Happ contract extension talk shit. It was going to want to blow my brains out. I do feel like this is it, and we'll finally be rid of him. But at the same time, I do think there is especially when you get towards the end of the off season, and teams who thought they were going to go get this guy or get this guy, I feel like they have a hole. I guarantee you there is a way to move him now, but they won't explore it because they'd have to have an uncomfortable conversation with him, and they just don't want to do it, which is the terrible way to run a baseball team.
Yeah,
it's a business.
For sure.
Right.
He's an employee with a contract, and he has the power, right? He can tell you, go pound sand. I'm not leaving. That doesn't mean you don't go ask him about it. I know he's like, they are constantly worried about his, like, he's a little frail, I think, mentally. Like there's a reason that he's got to do and he acknowledges it, right? He needs the magic dots and he needs the same routine and all this stuff. It was apparently part of the reason why Ross wouldn't bat him lead off for the longest time, because he was worried that the change was going to be, it's like, Jesus, for Christ's sakes. So I do think there's this thing about him where they're like, look, I can see them having the conversation internally and being like, he's not gonna say it's okay to go, and all we're gonna do then is we're gonna get less out of him next year because he's gonna be in his fucking head about this, the fact we tried to trade him, and they'll just talk themselves out of it. It's not a reason to actually do it, but I can see them being like, even talking to him about it, we're gonna get a less productive player, so don't. We're not gonna go talk to him about it.
Just to save a ceiling of what, a 3.5 win left fielder.
I think that I think a real team would look at that and say, if this guy really is like that, and he really will be less productive, and what's best for the team is for him to be either traded or whatever.
Yeah, you would just do it.
You just release him.
Yeah.
I can't imagine his value is a lot, right? Like he's not a centerpiece of anything. Maybe there's a team out there, like I don't know, maybe there is the Reds,
I feel like,
Greenback.
So what's he's gonna make 19 next year, right?
So yeah, whatever.
I feel like if you're willing to eat $4 or $5 million of it, there are several teams who would happily take him. No pun intended. For 1 year, because there is no commitment after that for them.
Yeah, right.
If he had like 2 or 3 more years on the deal, he's untradeable.
Yeah, imagine if the Yankees don't get neither Bellinger nor Tucker.
I can't think of a worse place for. Who's going to need an outfielder? Is going to be the Mets.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they just traded Nimmo.
Wait till he gets booed for the first time. Crying Is he crying? But he might have Nick Madrigal there to hang out with.
There you go.
Right.
Or maybe he won't. It's amazing. I spent so much of my time trying to figure out how to get rid of Ian Happ. And it's not going to happen.
I mean, it's really simple. You just DFA it.
How? No, the Cubs wouldn't just. You think the Cubs would take their left fielder and just designate him for assignment and not get anything back? That's crazy. They would never do that.
No. Never done that before, especially not one better than him.
I'm looking at what Happ's projections are for next year.
I think
Jesus Christ.
I know the bullpen market hasn't really figured itself out yet. Although the Phil Maton deal looks like a good deal so far, considering other guys are signing for 1 year for more money than he's getting over 2.
Yeah.
I mean, per year over 2. But I feel like the Cubs are like, well, we got Palencia, he can close, right?
Yeah.
Well, he can, but that shouldn't mean you don't try to go get another closer.
Right.
Because one of the things you experienced in the playoffs was how nice it was to be able to use that dude in like the 6th inning to get you out of trouble.
Yep.
And then have other guys at the end. And honestly, when I had posted on Blue Sky the thing about the Cubs, it started this whole thing about their only being able to draft white guys in the first round, and Praz reminded me of that Porter Hodge might actually still turn into something. He was a non-first round draft pick.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I had completely forgotten about Porter Hodge.
Yeah,
I factor him in.
I mean, after this year, that's not, I can't blame you for that.
He was a lot will depend on
year.
How hurt was he? Like, was he hurt the whole time? Is that why he struggled so badly?
Yeah. Well,
there's a good chance he probably was.
There's probably still tweaks that they're making. Like, he's still, I think, young enough and like just coming out of whatever funk that he was in early in his career that made him whatever he was. He was a low round pick. I don't necessarily think that middle relievers, no matter how useful they are, like, I don't know that that's a notch. Like, I think every team in the middle rounds of the draft, when they take pitchers, hopes that they turn into a middle reliever. Like, that's the goal of that. Like, I don't like if Porter Hodge would all of a sudden turn into a number 3 starter, you'd certainly give him credit for that. Now, yeah, a middle reliever is still a middle reliever, and that's still very valuable. But,
Well, Porter's biggest problem, even when he's healthy, is that he walks too many guys.
Yeah. And like, I think that's the thing, is that I think that that's the part that they're obviously working on, because he's good at everything else. He limits contact. He gets strikeouts. He's a good pitcher, except that he gets a lot of walks, and that's obviously, I don't know what he does to how many home runs he gives up. But he's a good. He
didn't give up. He gave up 2 homers in 39 games in 24.
Yeah.
But he gave up 9 in 36 games last year.
Yeah.
And his walk rate went from 4 per 9, which is bad, to 4.9 per 9, which was worse. Obviously worse. It's not that neither of those.
Yeah, neither of those are good. But yeah,
I know a lot of that was the wind blowing out April games last year, especially that one crazy game against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I mean, that home run to fly ball ratio is out of every 4 fly balls that he gave up, one of them went out of the ballpark, which is that's crazy unlucky.
Yeah, right. Unless the exit velocity was like 120.
Yeah, I did look at that, but I mean, like, looking at his career, like, it's in the in the 9s would be huge. Like, when he in 2024, I mean, he was really good in 2024. His fielded his FIP was really good. He was really good. Like that. He's got some promise. There's stuff that I think, to your point, is maybe he was hurt. How hurt was he? I think he's got a shot to be a pretty good pitcher. I'm with you.
And it wasn't. I don't remember what his injuries were. One of them was a hip.
Mm-hmm.
The hip injury turned into an arm injury, right?
Is that right?
Like, they put him on the injured list with the hip injury, and then later they said, well, his elbow screwed up too, or whatever it was.
Wasn't it almost like kind of the same thing as Amaya, where like he came back from the one injury, and then like that first outing back, I think he hurt. Okay. He got a different injury. Yeah,
he was. He had double impingements. He went from a left hip impingement to a right shoulder impingement. Congratulations.
I don't even know what an impingement is.
I mean, something's catching, right? Like, there's like something in there that's.
It's not something would be changing color. Oh no, it's a pigment.
Yeah, no, that's
very good.
Yeah, not impigment. Did you look up Hap's projections?
Oh yeah, they made me sad.
It's just typical. It's Ian Happ.
Well, it's
243, 342, 426.
Yeah, it's the
21 homers, 73 RBIs, 138 strikeouts.
Yeah, so, it's the age decline, and then it's like just everything just getting a little bit worse.
Not enough power, not enough on base, too many strikeouts.
Yep.
The sad thing is, like, if you look at what he did before he went on the IL last year, it wasn't all that great. The OPS was like mid 700s, but they had him at the leadoff spot, and he was doing his job as a leadoff hitter. I think he had an OBP somewhere around like 360 before he went on the IL. Then he had that long stretch after he came back from the IL until he got taken out of the leadoff spot. And then, like, was pretty good from that point through the end of the season. It's like if he could ever just have a full season like that, where it combines, like, what he did for that first stretch before he went on the IL, and then after he came back and, like, stopped leading off. Like, I would never have a complaint about the guy.
Yeah, if Ian Happ was a good baseball player, I wouldn't have complaints about him either.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, he was good in August. He was very good in September.
Yeah.
He was terrible in the playoffs except for one swing. But yeah, he was from May to July, he was basically unplayable. He was terrible.
Yeah.
But August 258, 374, 461, and then September, October 287, 382, 511. Which is really good. I feel like the only acceptable place to play him to bat him next year is leadoff. Like he needs to be able to get on base and lead off, because you need to get Bush out of the leadoff spot into a more, you'd like to have him in a spot where there's a reasonable chance of somebody being on base for him. I think the lineup works a lot better if Happ can actually lead off. And yeah, he had a 351 on base in April and May, or March and April. May it was 341, then it was 298 and 304, and that's when the guy had to get taken out because he was killing the offense.
Yeah.
Excuse me. As a leadoff hitter last year, 224, 322, 374. That's not going to come.
Well, I mean, the difference between the batting average and on base is like where you'd want it to be. The problem is the average isn't high enough, which makes the on base percentage not high enough.
Yeah, a 322 on base is terrible. That's Corey Patterson. Well, it's better than Corey, but it's bad. He was his best spot was fourth, 346, 433, 615 batting cleanup. It was only 7 games, so I don't think that counts for anything. But we're basically going to see that same offense unless they make some kind of trade that we don't expect.
It'll be worse. Well,
it's worse because it's going to be like the injured. It's going to be the injured Kyle Tucker offense, basically.
Well,
from
I would like to think that Ballesteros, like he really, like I just looked up his numbers. He really is like he did have a much better kind of the production was the stats were much better than I thought they were.
He can hit.
He can hit. The guy, I knew he could hit, but I like, holy cow, like they were actually very useful numbers. And so I'm not suggesting he's Kyle Tucker, obviously, even with the bat, even if you take out the defense and the base running. But that guy can hit. And so I think that there's a sense of like, it might be better than the offense, than the Kyle Tucker being hurt offense, right? The August offense.
It could be, because you had Moises only played in 20 games.
Yeah.
Because once Tucker came back, Tucker DH'd and Moises was just a bench player.
Right.
So it was just a short run there where Seiya was in right and Moises was DHing.
Yeah.
And then I don't think they started against lefties, although he shows no indication that you have to hide him from lefties.
He'll be fine.
No.
And man, if he can play,
I think that's even true of what he did in Iowa too.
If they can find some position that he can play, like if they I know that he's probably too short for first base, but man, if you could just stand in left field, like if they could find any place where he can get you 10 games.
Come on, who's going to be the starting first baseman for the Mets now that Pete Alonso is gone? Nick Madrigal.
Michael Bush.
Nick Madrigal.
No, Nick Madrigal.
Who's going to roll it over there? Actually, it's going to be Nick Madrigal standing on Mark Vientos' shoulders.
There you go.
Moises, they have him listed at 5'8".
Yeah.
How tall is a guy if he's listed at 5'8"?
Yeah.
5'6"? He doesn't seem that short. Maybe it's like the old Christopher Morel 135-pound thing where they just wouldn't update it for a decade.
He's available.
5'10" now. So I don't know. It's funny, Owen Casey's name didn't come up at all when Craig was going on and on about next year. He talked about Ballesteros quite a bit, and
Yeah.
they're both left-handed hitters, so it doesn't set up like a natural like platoon at DH.
Right.
Like I think Casey wasn't horrible. Like he probably, I can't imagine he had more than 20 plate appearances.
And he crashed headfirst into
Yeah.
into the ivy.
I mean, his really hot stretch was that 5-game Brewers series because he really tore it up then. But
yeah, maybe that's what I keep thinking of.
12 games.
Huh?
192, 222,
Yeah,
336.
I feel
So
like
if he tore it up in that Brewers series, he managed to do it with 5 hits because that's what he got last year. Oh, maybe he's good. I don't know. I'm very skeptical of it because I know how hard they tried to trade him to get something, and they couldn't find.
Right.
Nobody would give them anything for him. It doesn't make other teams right, but it certainly makes you be like, well, maybe. And if I hear he hit at Iowa, you know who hits at Iowa?
Everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
If you can't hit there, the great Roosevelt Brown won a batting title at Iowa. That's how tough it was to hit. I think he hit 392 for the Iowa Cubs. Roosevelt. How did he not make it?
Holy cow!
He was.
I
didn't know this.
Hey,
Did you know Roosevelt Brown was Ellis Burks' cousin?
Really?
Yeah.
I
thought I remembered that.
Huh. How about that?
I always want to look real quick at his what year. I think it was a lot. Whatever he hit. Oh, I was way off. 350. No, that's not it. Where's his Iowa batting title? 358.
Ooh, not bad.
Yeah, I remember thinking, oh, of course he can hit. Well, maybe not. And there's still, we got to figure out a spot for Kevin Alcantara, too.
Yeah, that's all.
It's just too many guys. What are we going to do with all his talent?
Whew, it's like all the shortstops in 2014. Or
one of the things Craig talked about was they were trying to bait him into some Shaw stuff. Basically, like, do you see him as a multi-positional player? And he's like, well, I see him as a third baseman because he was like really good at third base.
Right.
And then he's like, well, okay, we were really healthy last year. And so if we weren't as healthy, would we have had to have played like Nico at shortstop? Say Dansby we had to play Nico at shortstop, and then Shaw has to play some second, or maybe Shaw has to play some shortstop. So he's basically talking about, like being able to move these guys around. But he basically was talking about without saying, it's like, we're going to need an actual bench this year.
Yeah.
Like, we can't do what we did last year.
Yes.
Right.
And especially if Moises is going to be on your team, then that's you have basically a full-time DH on your roster.
Right.
He's your third catcher.
Right.
But that's one less guy who can actually play. And so do you basically treat him like Justin Turner this year?
Well, you don't have to, right? Like, I think
we've got him. He can play some first and he can catch, but we're going to need a new version of Willie Castro. We're going to somebody's going to have to be able to play real positions.
Yeah. Capably. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go with Vidal Brujan again.
Yes.
Although I'm sure you could get him back. I'm sure he'll be available. I don't think the Braves were that excited to have him.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they brought back Castro. Like, I mean, he was terrible at the plate, but he played.
Yeah, I mean, it's
pretty good defense all over the place.
Honestly, that's a guy. And I know he's going to make $8 million. Yeah, well, that shouldn't be. This year the Cubs. That shouldn't be an issue. Because when you have him, you literally have a guy who can competently, in some places much more than competently, play every position on the field except for catcher.
And it gives
if during a game you need to pinch, and he's fast, so he's a pinch runner.
Yeah,
he had hit okay with the Twins. He struggled with the Cubs, but it was 2 months, whatever. To me, that's a really valuable play. If I was a manager, I would want a guy like Willie Castro on my team, who I can just, if Pete needs a day off, I know Willie's going to catch the ball in center field for the whole game.
Well, what I would say
I don't have to worry about it. Even if he doesn't get me a hit that day, the ball's not going to roll to the frickin' wall because we put somebody out there who can't handle it. Well, and he can do that at every spot.
Yeah. What it really allows you to do, more than anything else, I think, is assuming that Ballesteros actually gets, say, 600 plate appearances this year at DH and maybe a position or two here or there. if he gets all like if he actually goes out and hit, signing Castro means that you can keep someone like Kevin Alcantara to play backup center field, play
Yep.
backup outfield, who's pretty good. You
Yeah.
got Castro for backup
Right.
infield. You can, I mean, you got a backup catcher that you have to keep, and then you really can take another hitter on your bench. Like you could really go out and find, somebody who can give you a couple.
Well,
home
if
runs.
you're
You don't
if
have
you're
to worry
going
about
into this,
defensive flexibility.
if you're going into the season saying Moises Ballesteros and Owen Casey are going to be on our bench.
Okay,
Right.
well, Casey would be the other one. Okay.
So you need a Willie Castro type then.
Yes.
You need
Yes.
Right.
you need more than just the typical guy who can play second and short.
Yes.
You need
yes.
a guy who can play other spots. That makes it even more valuable because then your other bench spot is whichever of your real catchers isn't catching, and that's it. You're out of spots already.
Yep. Well, you got 5 bench spots, not including
Well, it'd be Casey. Oh, you're right. It would be Casey. Say it's Willie. Say it's Casey, Castro, the other catcher. You have 1 spot left.
2 spots.
That's it. You have 1 because I'm counting Ballesteros as your DH.
Yeah, you're right.
So you got your 4 bench spots.
Yeah.
Because that's all you have, unless crazy, you don't feel the need to have 13 pitchers all the time. But nobody does.
Which
no team carries less than that.
I mean, early in the season, not something that could kill you. So, yeah, maybe just bank on that.
Yeah, I guess teams will do it for a stretch, but they won't.
Right.
Nobody's going to go with 12. Even though, what was it, like the 87 Cubs or something used like 10 guys for the whole season.
The thing I kind of noticed about like the Cubs roster this year is that like the guys who typically start kind of have a little bit of the profiles of guys that you would bring in later in games. They were just good enough to start at the same time. Like, you wouldn't bring in a defensive replacement or pinch run for Nico or PCA or Dansby Swanson or Shaw. I mean, maybe Shaw early in the year before you were like really certain of how good of a third baseman he was. So, I mean, if you really trust that going into the season, what you probably should load up on the bench is just going after hitters at that point.
Well, that's what Willie Castro. I think that's my argument about what Willie Castro allows you to do is you need somebody who can play the field on the bench, right? You need to now that if Swan gets hurt in the 5th inning, you can't go out there without a middle infielder.
I think they need the reason they need a guy like Willie is they're way too content to run those same guys out every day. And I think it's to their detriment. I think they need to be willing to just give it. And none of them are going to want a day off, which is fine.
Right. Yeah.
But you need to give them days off.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, just playing Nico once early in the season, they were, resting Nico because of his arm. And then like 3 weeks in, it's like, well, he can just play every inning for the rest of the season.
Yeah. That's Swanson.
I don't know that that's the greatest idea in the world. Dansby never wants to leave the field.
Yeah, but he was also hurt like a little bit during the year, so that kind of forced him to play Nico a little bit more because you need a middle infield.
Yeah.
So, but that's my point about getting somebody like Castro is if you could plug him in, like even if somebody gets hurt a little bit, you still can have a sub. You still can have somebody who come in and play, and so that's what allow you to carry an extra hitter.
None of the guys that they currently have. Unless Craig has changed his mind about Bush, they don't have the right-handed first baseman. And if he's going to want to play one, he's your manager. You're going to have to go find him somebody.
Yeah. Well, you do got Johnny Long if you really want him, but
yeah, but at some point you need adults on your bench too.
You're
already going to carry a fair amount of. If you have Casey and Moises, you got 2 really young players on your bench. You don't want a third.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just going to bring Justin Turner back.
Oh,
I don't think it's impossible.
No, I don't like. To your point, he was fine in where he was. I don't know. I mean, that's probably another.
But they got to be a younger version of that, right?
Well, we'll say this:
you shouldn't have to get a 41-year-old.
Yeah.
You should be able to find like a 32-year-old who can handle that. But yeah, I mean, for the 2, you're basically looking for a pinch hitter and a guy to take some at bats against lefties. And those were the 2 things. When you looked at his stats at the end of the year, he was really good at those 2 things. Nothing else.
Yep.
But those 2 things, he actually outperformed what you would have thought he was going to do. And they treat him like another coach, which I hate. An old guy who can't play should be a coach, not on your bench. So bring him back as a coach. See if
Like
he'll
it's
go for
it's
that.
another. I will say this. Like, and I know it doesn't really solve your first base issue that you're talking about, and maybe you figure out a way to do it. But it's another reason why you can feel good if you go out and sign a starting third baseman and just move Shaw to that utility role where he can play whatever position. I'm sure Matt Shaw could play shortstop if he had to. I think that's if you make him into a utility player for next year, I think that solves a lot of issues. And I think that'd be a pretty cool way to use him. Like, I don't think he play him at first base. I don't think he can play the outfield.
Right, but you only do that. You only do that if you get Alex Bregman.
Bregman or Murakami, yeah.
Right. I haven't seen much of Shaw in middle infield at all. I guess.
I mean, he came up.
The
He
one
was a
concern.
shortstop. He came up as he could be a second baseman. I think he played some second base.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do wonder about moving guys from third base to other spots on the infield and seeing how they are when it comes to like moving to your right to field ball.
Yeah.
Because
with Shaw, I think
you don't
with
really
Shaw
have
was
to
the other
worry
way
about
around.
that so much at third.
Yeah, I think with Shaw it was the other way around. He moved.
Do the Cubs have any history of moving a guy from third to second with any success?
Nope.
Does
None.
that ever happen?
Nope.
Did somebody
Sure.
win like the Gold Gloves the first
Sure,
7
but
years at second base?
43
you know
years
who would
ago.
have been awesome with that is Luis Volpeno.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, Louis could play anywhere.
Yeah,
That's a good
He didn't
point.
care. He
Louis.
could play anywhere. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think there's any concern. I think the Shaw doesn't have the arm for short, but he certainly, if you needed him to play it for a while, he wouldn't care.
Yeah.
It'd be fine.
The other guy we haven't mentioned that I've heard mentioned with the Cubs is, of course, Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, because he's been connected.
Yeah.
Again.
But he's old, and I'm not.
Yeah, that to me
I don't know
feels
that,
like.
idea, but yeah, that's.
Although that would give you, obviously the Pete Alonso conversation from yesterday was, would you like to back up Michael Busch at first base? We need somebody to face lefties, and that'd be your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Suarez played, didn't the Diamondbacks play in one game at first base just to show that he could?
Is that right?
Before the trade deadline? Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But you could, that would be a guy that he would be your primary third baseman, but you also then, if Shaw is your utility player, would give you the option that against a tough lefty that you didn't want Bush to face.
Yeah.
That Eugenio played first that day and Bush played third.
Yep.
Or I mean, and Shaw played third.
Shaw plays third, yeah.
I do think I will say this, like, I think that what makes Suarez attractive to the Cubs is he won't need anything more than maybe a 3-year deal. Because he's older. But I think the Cubs are very interested in him on a 1-year deal, exactly for the reason that, hey, you give him a 1-year deal, you're fine, and then Shaw moves over to second base, you can get rid of Nico, Happ is gone. Like, all of a sudden, he's good for their goal of clearing salary in 27.
Who are the Mariners going to play Polanco at third?
He's a free agent too. That's another guy who's kind of interesting. I think he's a free agent also. He might cost too much, but yeah.
It's funny. Polanco is a good player, but he's really inconsistent.
No.
Like his good years, he's really good. And then 2 years ago with the Mariners, 213, 296, 355. 4 years ago with the Twins, 235, 346, 405. Then he mixes in a 503 slug and a 495 slug and a 454 slug and a 485 slug. And it's like he's basically Steve Traxel. It's every other year. He's Dylan Cease and Steve Traxel of hitters. So you do not want Jorge. You want Jorge
Soto,
27. You don't want him for 26.
You pay him $1 million this year and $20 million next year. Oh, whatever it is.
Right.
However that works out.
Yeah.
He's not a bad ball player. Yeah,
No, he's a good player, and he was really good for them in the playoffs. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised the Mariners aren't just. Maybe they are. Wouldn't you just bring Gene back again? Especially if he's going to sign for a 1-year deal. If he's going to have to take a 1 or 2 year deal, somebody shouldn't it be with the Mariners?
Yeah, I think it's kind of. That's probably their plan because they re-signed Naylor, right? They got Naylor in the middle of the year. They re-signed him right away.
Yeah,
I mean, as close as the
start of the offseason.
Blue Jays were to winning the World Series, the Mariners were that close to winning the pennant. You would think that would motivate you to just, And it was kind of a suboptimal, given the injuries they had to their pitchers. Like they didn't have Woo.
Yep. Bryce Miller was not good.
Bryce Miller didn't have a good year until his one start in the playoffs, and both guys should be better next year if they're healthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
George Kirby wasn't that great, all things considered. Like
you think they'd be, and maybe they will. You think
Logan
they'd
Gilbert.
be? Yeah, it's but the Cubs, they're just worried about finishing second in the Central and making the playoffs. And anything
they have a heck of a streak.
How could we possibly compete with the Brewers?
Yeah. Let's just make the playoffs.
Here's a Brewer thing that I don't understand, right? So now they're talking about they're probably going to trade Freddie Peralta because their payroll has gotten above what they want. Why the fuck did they give Brandon Woodruff $32 million?
Correct. Yeah, why give him that qualifying offer after buying him out?
You already gave him $10 million in the buyout. Then you gave him the qualifying offer, which he took. And now they're like, oh, that's too much. We can't afford our... And we can't beat that. The Cubs can't beat that. That's how they operate up there. Now they're on such a, and that's also bullshit too. If I was a Brewer fan, well, I'm number one, I wouldn't want to be that. But if I was a Brewer fan, Mark Anastasio is worth $2 billion. It's not like he could spend, you don't have to have the payroll you have. He chooses for you to have that payroll. And the handicap they have is self-inflicted. It's not, yes, they're the smallest market, but their owner has plenty of money. Yeah. They don't have to artificially keep their payroll down.
And he probably got a better deal on that stadium than Jerry got for Comiskey.
Oh, the Brewers don't pay for that stadium. It was those 5 counties that and he's getting all that free sand. Don't you remember that he got fined because his house in Malibu, he was stealing sand from somewhere else and putting it on his beach?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. That sand's not good enough for me. Bring in this other sand.
Mark Antonaccio.
I thought you were going to say he's using that sand at Miller Park for the infield dirt.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were getting at. I'm like, wait, are you saying like the pitcher's mound is stolen sand from Malibu? Like, what? What the fuck?
The lawsuit claims Antonaccio has been using excavators to dig up sand as part of a personal construction project.
Wow.
Has been stealing sand from Malibu's Broad Beach and carrying it to his home for his personal use on a construction project. According to the LA Times, Antonaccio's next-door neighbor, James Kohlberg, son of global investor Jerome Kohlberg, of course, we know that, claims Antonaccio has been using excavators on a public natural resource, restricting public access to the beach while also exposing local marine life to potentially hazardous byproducts of heavy machinery. According to the lawsuit, he received permits in March to repair a damaged section of seawall, but in June and July, excavators allegedly began dragging sand from the beach to his private property, leaving gasoline residue in the water and the sand in the process.
Oh, wow. What a dick.
This is like Todd not paying committing property tax fraud by sending in pictures of what the house looked like before they tore it down and built a new one, and then Tom buying his neighbor's house and tearing it down. But these are people that he can afford to do that.
Yes.
But oh my God, we can't commit to a long-term contract. No, that's too much. I got another house to tear down. Fun.
No, man.
All right. Well, the good news is they haven't done anything yet, so when they do, we'll have so much to talk about.
I can't wait. I can't wait till they start really finishing in second place for all these free agents.
Yeah.
That's going to be, that'll be fun.
We were so close.
Yeah.
That's Carter's job, is to leak we were right there.
We're so close.
We basically made the same offer. Our offer had more present. That's the Bleacher Nation thing, right? More present day value than the one they took.
Yeah, it was only for 3 years, but
we had a seat at the table, guys. Yeah.
We got a seat at the table. All right. Well, hey, just to leave on good news, Connor Bedard had a goal and an assist today.
Oh, good. The Blackhawks haven't given up 13 goals in the last 2 days this time.
Oh, yeah. They had a rough stretch in Southern California, but
they beat the Rangers tonight.
Yep.
Spencer and I pitched the shutout.
All right.
Spoiler alert, I suppose, if anybody was DVRing it. All right. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Brass.
Many of us have herpes.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
It's fitting. It's got to be done with one of the best games of all time. Just unbelievable. I mean, got to congratulate the Dolan family.
Thank you.
Sean, my podcast co-host Andy, you were his favorite player growing up.
Oh, thank you so much. Awesome.